when it comes to the drought.
So if you are making any plans for this summer, you want to stay safe with your family, but also for your pets. And protecting your dog from the heat on pavement and sand is just one of those safety tips to remember. Here with more is Brandy Munden, VP.
Is personalized service. What makes it possible? T-Mobile for Business 5G solutions. With T-Mobile's reliable 5G business internet, every employee across 2,200 stores is instantly connected to the latest information so they can fulfill online orders, expedite checkout, and help business grow. Get up to $750 when you switch to T-Mobile 5G business internet.
VP of Public Relations and Communications for the American Kennel Club. Thank you so much for joining us, Brandy. And let's get right to it. A lot of people may have some beach plans here. We would need to wear sunscreen, bring water and snacks. Are all these things kind of true when it comes to dogs?
They actually are. So first step, you want to make sure that your beach allows dogs. You want to make sure you know what their leash policy is, so that you are not violating any rules and your dog can have a good time. You want to be careful with heat stroke. Dogs get very hot. They don't sweat like humans. So you want to look out for any sign of heat stroke, which means your dog would need to cool down, not in the car by itself, but your dog would need to cool down and you need to take those precautions. You also want to apply sunscreen to your dog's nose and their ears. And if they have maybe a thinner coat, you want to make sure you're getting those spaces that have sparse fur so they don't get sunburned at all. Be careful with the paw pads on hot sand, but you don't necessarily have to put sunscreen on the paw pads, but you want to make sure that the sand is not too hot and they're not spending too much time on it. Bring fresh water. I know there's an ocean out there. Absolutely, but you don't want your dog drinking that water per se. It's salt water. It also has bacteria in it that can cause GI disruption, and that could make a fun day at the beach go awry. So you want to bring plenty of fresh water for them to make sure that they have drinking water, because they will also get hot. You do not want your dog to eat sand. They'll do it. Dogs will eat anything. We know these things, but sand can cause GI disruptions. And it can block their intestines, which would lead to an impaction, which could be a very costly surgery and a very long healing time for them per se. So you want to make sure that you're monitoring them. They're not eating sand. Bring their food, bring some treats, but make sure they're not eating the sand. And you want to be on the lookout for sea life. If jellyfish and stingray are getting close to the shore, you want to make sure that you have your dog on leash or you have them away from there. Jellyfish stings and stingray stings, which is a tongue twister, can be a lot on a dog. They can be dangerous and in some cases fatal because of the poison that they can shoot into the dog. So you want to make sure that you're being mindful of the sea life that's there. And most importantly, check the water conditions if your dog is going to go out in the water. Dogs think they're great swimmers, but check with the lifeguard just to make sure it's not too choppy so you don't have a rescue on your hands. And you should have a pretty great day with your dog.
Brandy, those are some excellent tips there. I didn't know about the sunscreen. I think that's super important. If there's any kind of final quick safety tips that you have ahead of the summer season.
Never leave your dog in cars. Thank you guys so much for saying that. If your dog cannot go inside, the dog does not need to go. As much as we love them, cars get entirely too hot. Be mindful of them being on the sand and the hot pavement. Carrying paw balm with you is actually a very helpful tip so that those paws don't get cracked. And just make sure you're mindful of your dog at all times and be courteous to other beachgoers. We want everybody to have a great experience, including your dog. So pay attention to the rules, make sure you're prepared, and have the best summer with your dog.
Brandy Munden, Vice President of Public Relations and Communications for the American Kennel Club. Thank you so much for all the excellent tips, and we hope you have a safe summer.
It will get hotter over the next few days as the ridge builds. We're going to see fewer clouds out there. And you can see that there are areas with excessive heat warnings. In fact, if I isolate them on the map here, many areas in the southwest are under them. And then we also have heat advisories one step down, including parts of the Bay Area there. And then an excessive heat watch looking further down the line into parts of interior, central, and southern California, too. But a good news update here on the recent wildfire that we've been tracking, the Corral Fire. This has not grown at all. There's been almost no fire activity over the past 24 or 36 hours, which is good news. So we're pinned at 14,000 acres. One of the interstates here was a nice boundary that it did not cross a fire stop. And now 90% of that.
This
This is the moment to make this summer the summer. Drive home a new 2024 Mitsubishi Outlander SE or Outlander plug-in hybrid SE with 0% APR for 48 months with no payments for 90 days and 0 down. The moment is now.
It will get hotter over the next few days as the ridge builds. We're going to see fewer clouds out there. And you can see that there are areas with excessive heat warnings. In fact, if I isolate them on the map here, many areas in the southwest